All right, welcome to this explainer. If you've ever wondered why some organic fertilizers absolutely revolutionize soil health, while others, well, they just act like expensive dirt, the answer is always hiding right there in the chemistry. Today, we're diving deep into the literal anatomy of premium potassium humate. We're going to break down an actual official certificate of analysis, cutting straight through the marketing fluff to get to the hard data. So, what raw numbers actually separate a top-tier organic fertilizer from your standard run-of-the-mill bulk product? Honestly, it all comes down to guaranteed concentration levels. We've got an official batch analysis of potassium humate to look at today, and let me tell you, the contrast here is pretty fascinating. When you stack a high-purity input up against standard commercial blends, the quality indicators are frankly night and day. Let's kick things off at the macro level, the actual physical form. Now, potassium humate can be manufactured as a powder or sometimes a granule, but this specific high purity batch comes as black flakes. And yeah, this physical state is your first point of contact, and it actually really matters. Flakes usually mean easier handling, way better solubility profiles, and, this is huge, significantly less dust just blowing away in the wind before it even hits your soil. It's one of those small operational details that turns into a massive difference out in the field. Okay, let's dive into the chemical engine of the stuff by looking straight at the guaranteed analysis. We are not dealing with rough estimates here. These are strict minimum specifications across four massive pillars: humic acid, fulvic acid, potassium oxide, and overall organic matter. This right here, this is the absolute core of our explainer today. This exact chemical breakdown is where we really see those standard, everyday fertilizers just get left in the dust. So let's unpack what these numbers literally mean for your crop yields. The crucial starting point is this absolute powerhouse of a baseline, a guaranteed minimum organic matter content of 80%. I mean, think about ordinary fertilizers for a second. So many of them are heavily diluted with synthetic fillers or inert carriers that do literally nothing for your soil biology. But hitting an 80% threshold, that means you're delivering a hyper-concentrated premium carbon source. It's the ultimate foundational building block for healthy soil, massively spiking microbial activity instead of just dumping empty volume onto your fields. Next up is the active biological driver, which is a minimum of 55% humic acid. Actually, notice that greater than or equal to sign. This batch guarantees that over half of its total physical weight is pure humic acid. In standard commercial products, man, you'd be lucky to see even a fraction of that concentration. And this high purity is exactly what drastically improves nutrient retention and soil structure. Humic acid basically acts like a giant sponge. It bumps up the cationic exchange capacity of the soil so that your nutrients actually stay locked in for the roots rather than just leaching away the second you get a heavy rain. Right alongside that, the spec sheet demands a minimum of 50% fulvic acid. Honestly, that number is staggering. Fulvic acid is the chelating agent that essentially spoon feeds nutrients directly through the plant cell walls. Because its molecular size is so incredibly small, it easily crosses that barrier, dragging all those essential minerals right along with it. When you pair this 50% fulvic guarantee with the humic acid we just talked about, the high purity nature of this product becomes pretty undeniable. Ordinary, low-grade fertilizers just do not carry this kind of highly mobile, active organic payload. No way. And rounding out this active profile, we've got a minimum of 12% potassium oxide. Now, this is where the product brilliantly bridges the gap between just being a soil amendment and providing direct crop nutrition. It's not just restructuring the earth and waking up microbial life, it's delivering a vital macronutrient straight to the root zone. It completes this incredibly powerful triad of humic, fulvic, and potassium. In a standard fertilizer program, you're usually buying all these components completely separately. But here, that synergy is literally baked right into the chemical structure. But okay, let's get practical. What do these high purity metrics actually mean for a farm operator on, say, a random Tuesday morning? Well, it dictates that the product maintains a high pH of 9 to 10 and is completely water soluble. And that 100% solubility, that is the holy grail. Because unlike standard lower grade fertilizers that leave behind this heavy, gross sludge that clogs up your expensive drip irrigation lines, these black flakes integrate seamlessly into liquid application systems. It saves you time, it saves your equipment, and it guarantees completely uniform distribution across your entire crop. Shifting gears from chemistry to logistics for a second. Under that HD brand mark, this specific batch is packaged in highly manageable 1 kilogram bags, but it totals a massive 50,000 kilograms in total volume. It's a really fascinating juxtaposition when you think about it. It tells us we're looking at an industrial scale agricultural supply, right? But it's packaged specifically to give operators exact unit by unit precision when they're mixing your tanks. You're getting the sheer scale of commercial agriculture without sacrificing an ounce of the hyper precision that modern nutrient management demands. So, manufactured on February 16th, 2025, under batch number 2025-0216, this high-purity potassium humate comes with a very reliable 2-year shelf life. And if you're in commercial ag, you know that inventory management is honestly just as critical as soil management. Knowing that the chemical stability of these flakes holds rock solid for a full 24 months gives operators the breathing room to plan their applications out across multiple growing seasons. You aren't constantly racing against the clock, worrying about active compounds degrading on you. But of course, none of these metrics mean a thing without accountability, right? To validate all this, the certificate of analysis wraps up with an official authorized signature and stamp, confirming the product strictly conforms to the in-house specs of Honda Technology Co. Ltd. It's that final stamped guarantee that those sky-high thresholds, the 80% organic matter, those staggering fulvic levels, the complete solubility are actually present in every single one of those 50,000 kilos. It is basically your ultimate defense against standard, unverified products. So, we've totally unpacked the anatomy of this potassium humate, moving all the way from how it handles as physical flakes down to its rigorous molecular guarantees. And I want to leave you with this final thought. If standard fertilizers are just filling your soil with inert carriers and leaving sludge in your irrigation lines, how much yield are you literally leaving on the table by not demanding this level of purity? Because when you know exactly what is and what isn't in your fertilizer, you completely change how you grow. Thanks for tuning into this explainer, and hey, keep demanding the data.